Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Live, India's voice to the world. I'm Munun Bhattacharya. Coming up in the next 30 minutes. Prime Minister Narendra Modi visits air crash site in Ahmedabad, meets the injured and the lone survivor, a day after India's worst aviation disaster. Iran targets Israel with hundreds of drones after losing top commanders and nuclear scientists. US court says President Trump can deploy National Guard troops in Los Angeles. Prime Minister Narendra Modi has condoled the loss of numerous lives in the tragic air accident in Gujarat's Ahmedabad. He conveyed his condolences to the bereaved families, acknowledging the immense pain and loss they are enduring. Earlier today, PM Modi visited the site of the Air India plane crash in Ahmedabad to assess the situation firsthand. The Prime Minister met with officials and emergency response teams working tirelessly in the aftermath of the disaster. Gujarat Chief Minister Bhupendra Patel and Civil Aviation Minister Ram Mohan Naidu were also present at the site. Expressing solidarity with the affected families, PM Modi met those injured in the aftermath, including the lone survivor, and assured them of the nation's unwavering support during this difficult time. Prime Minister Modi also chaired a meeting with ministers and senior officials at Ahmedabad Airport to take stock of the situation in the wake of the Air India plane crash. As Prime Minister Modi visited the plane crash site, he posted his message of grief and condolence on X. The Prime Minister said, and I quote, "Visited the crash site in Ahmedabad today. The scene of devastation is saddening. Met officials and teams working tirelessly in the aftermath. Our thoughts remain with those who lost their loved ones in this unimaginable tragedy." In another post, PM Modi said, "We are all devastated by the air tragedy in Ahmedabad. The loss of so many lives in such a sudden and heartbreaking manner is beyond words. Condolences to all the bereaved families. We understand their pain and also know that the void left behind will be felt for years to come. Om Shanti." PM also said, met those injured in the aftermath of the tragic plane crash in Ahmedabad, including the lone survivor, and assured them that we are with them and their families in this tough time. The entire nation is praying for their speedy recovery. Prime Minister Narendra Modi condoled the passing of former Gujarat Chief Minister Vijay Rupani, who tragically lost his life in the Ahmedabad air tragedy. PM Modi met the family members of Vijay Rupani and remembered him as a humble and hard-working leader. The Prime Minister highlighted Rupani's distinguished career, recalling his contributions across various roles, including his tenure in the Rajkot Municipal Corporation, as Rajya Sabha MP, Gujarat BJP President, and as a cabinet minister in the state government. The sole survivor of the crash, a British national of Indian origin, is in hospital. DD India correspondent spoke to him some time back. Listen in.
The lone survivor who miraculously survived this fatal air crash is with us, is undergoing treatment at the civil hospital in Ahmedabad. What was the situation yesterday? Can you describe for us, please?
I can't explain. Everything happened in my eye. I can't.
How did you manage to escape? Did you pull the emergency doors?
No. Emergency door is broken.
Yeah.
My seat is broken.
Yeah.
Then I see the pace little bit.
Yeah.
Then I will try to come out.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why.
So, did the aircraft catch fire before you came out?
Yes.
Okay.
A little bit fire. After me, I'm out. Then blast.
So, did anybody help you, or you after that you came out on your own? How did you jump from the aircraft?
I'm not jumping.
Okay.
I just walk out, innit?
Okay.
Then ambulance coming in.
You did walk out on the building, or
No, in floor.
on the floor?
Yes.
Okay.
inside the aeroplane.
Only there.
Yeah.
So, and you managed to get into the ambulance there? What did Prime Minister tell you? What was the conversation?
He's just asking me everything is okay. That's it.
You're feeling better now.
Yes.
And where your family? Where's your family? Are you-
Everybody is in London. Yes. Me and my brother staying in India last 8-9 months. And yesterday I was going to back to London. It happened everything. Yeah.
How do you feel that you have survived this kind of?
I can't explain. It's miracle everything.
So here we have the lone survivor of the attack, definitely at a loss of words of what he saw yesterday, and definitely something that nobody can encapsulate in words in terms of the massive tragedy that has struck with this airplane crash. What we also understand that this lone survivor is the only witness of what had happened that day. Besides, a number of people who were at the hostel mess during lunch have also faced serious injuries and are being treated at this hospital, the civil hospital here in Ahmedabad. With camera person Vinod Oja, this is Meghna Dev for DD India from Ahmedabad, Gujarat.
And there's a breaking news coming in at this point in time. The black box has been found on the rooftop of the air crash site. Further, investigators have recovered a digital flight data recorder from the debris of the Air India plane in Ahmedabad. So that's the breaking news coming in. The black box has been found, and also a digital flight data recorder has been found from the debris of the Air India plane in Ahmedabad. For more on this, we are being joined by correspondent Tapas Bhattacharya. Tapas, please fill us in with more details. How can the discovery of the black box and the digital flight data help us understand what really happened, what caused the air crash?
Helped the MOCA staff, that is the Ministry of Civil Aviation staff, which was there, and almost 40 plus staff of the state government were put pressed into services, and as per the Ministry of Civil Aviation, they have received the DFDR, that is the digital flight data recorder. And contrary to some of the reports, that the video that was shown on social media about a video where some sort of a recorder was there, that was not the digital flight data recorder. That was a different one. And also, we've been told by our sources in the ministry that the black box was also found. That was found on the rooftop of the crash site. There is this DGAIB, which is basically the what you call the aircraft accident investigation bureau of India. That they are right now working at the crash site, and they have been trying to find out exactly what is happening over there. And they also gave this that the black box was found, and also the DFDR has been recorded. Now, the digital flight data recorder is very crucial. It will provide us the details of what exactly was the digital data at that time. What was the data at that time when the flight was going on? Why that the flight didn't get enough elevation? That's something that we will get from that particular from that particular recorder. And also, we were told that this system is expected to give a more information about exactly what went wrong and how there was this particular black smoke that was coming. What actually led to that particular black smoke? And also, as the black box was found, it will also throw mystery. Throw some mystery of that of this particular crash. What exactly happened? That there's a twin engine failure, and the flight and the aircraft didn't get enough elevation. What led to that? That's something that a lot of people are asking, because remember, this particular Boeing Dreamliner is uses two of the most powerful engines currently being used in any passenger aircraft. So those mystery, that what exactly went wrong with the engine, or what went exactly wrong with the flight, that we believe we will be now able to address that, and more information will be able we will be getting more information as the aircraft the DGCA and the ministry start working on unraveling that information from the black box.
Yes, Tapas, you're telling us that as far as the digital flight data recorder is concerned, it would have, in a sense, the digital fingerprints of what really happened at that point in time. But also tell us the importance of the black box. We know that after such air tragedies, the black box becomes the focus of the investigators. Does it contain the conversations that take place inside the cockpit? Why is it so crucial in terms of evidence for investigators?
Right. So a black box is basically it records the flight and the voice data. It's a key in any crash investigation, helping experts to understand what went wrong and how to avoid that in the future. It has there is whenever there is a aircraft crash, one phrase that always you get to hear is if a black box is found or not. So what exactly is despite the name black box, it's actually not. It doesn't look like a black. It doesn't. It's basically in orange in color, and it has all the information that is required. It has. It's just not one device. Black box is not just one way. It's actually a two components packed into one casing. That a flight data recorder, that is the FDR. This records the technical data of the aircraft, like the speed, the altitude, the engine performance, and navigation details. Now, there is another aspect of that. There is a cockpit voice recorder that is there, that you call the CVR. Now, this stores the audio from the cockpit, including the pilot's conversation and other sounds that emit from the flight deck. Together, these recorders can store over, or if I'm not wrong, close to 24 hours of flight data and 2 hours of voice recording. So when there is a crash or when there is any accident that takes place, investigators take clue from the information stored in these two devices and find out if there is a technical failure or if there is any human error. And this actually also saves, improving giving a safety protocol and preventing any such incident for future. So the agencies which work there, for instance, here in India, there is a DGCA and Civil Aviation Ministry. In US, there is the FAA. So these agencies use the data that is stored in this machine and make sure that they don't make the same mistake. So in fact, India's aviation regulator, that is DGCA, mandates that all commercial flights must be equipped with a black box. Even a small aircraft right now, like for instance, 25 seating capacity or 10 person capacity.
Right. To our correspondent. Yes. Tapas reporting on the discovery of a black box, which would be extremely crucial for investigators in finding out the real cause of the biggest aviation disaster in India's history that happened on Thursday outside the Ahmedabad airport. The government has also initiated a formal investigation into the tragic Air India plane crash in Ahmedabad. Union Civil Aviation Minister Ram Mohan Naidu has stated that a formal investigation has been initiated by the Aircraft Accident Investigation Bureau. The investigation is being done in line with international protocols set by the International Civil Aviation Organization. Additionally, the government is constituting a high-level committee comprising experts from multiple disciplines to examine the matter in detail. The committee will work to strengthen aviation safety and prevent such incidents in future. In the early hours of Friday, Israel struck Iran, targeting its nuclear plants and military sites. The strikes killed Iranian commanders and missile factories, its ballistic missile program and its Natanz uranium enrichment facility. Iran vows severe consequences while accusing the US of carrying out or being part of, in a way, helping Israel carry out the attacks. Washington denies any involvement, calling it a unilateral action by Tel Aviv. Ayushi Bhatnagar reports.
Iran's nuclear ambitions were jolted when several areas woke up to loud explosions early this Friday. Israel pounded Iran in a series of air raids striking more than 100 targets, including Tehran's nuclear and military sites, and killing the armed forces' chief of staff, the commander of Iran's Revolutionary Guards, and the commander of Iran's Emergency Command. Israel said it has also targeted Iranian missile factories, its ballistic missile program, and its Natanz uranium enrichment facility. Giving details of the strikes, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu said in a recorded video message that the operation would continue for days.
We struck at the heart of Iran's nuclear enrichment program. We struck at the heart of Iran's nuclear weaponization program. We targeted Iran's main enrichment facility in Natanz. We targeted Iran's leading nuclear scientists working on the Iranian bomb. We also struck at the heart of Iran's ballistic missile program.
Nuclear scientist Faridun Abbasi Dawani and Mohammad Mehdi Tehranchi were also killed in Israeli strikes. Israel's Revolutionary Guards vowed revenge. The country has declared a state of emergency following its Operation Rising Lion. Israeli officials said Iran had enough material to make 15 nuclear bombs within days. Meanwhile, enraged by the attacks, Iran's supreme leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei warned that Israel would suffer severe consequences. In a statement, Iran's foreign ministry said that the United States will be responsible for the consequences of Israel's adventurism. The Trump administration sought to distance the US from the strikes, with the Secretary of State Marco Rubio calling them a unilateral action. He highlighted that Washington was not involved, while also urging Tehran not to target US interests or personnel in the region. US President Donald Trump will also attend a National Security Council meeting on Friday at around 1500 GMT. Iran, Jordan, and Iraq announced the closure of their airspace. Tel Aviv's Ben Gurion Airport will remain closed until further notice. Israel also closed its checkpoints in the occupied West Bank region. Israel's army spokesperson Brigadier General Efi Defrin said on Friday that Iran launched over 100 UAVs towards Israel, urging its citizens to be resilient and patient.
In the last few hours, Iran has launched over 100 UAVs from its territory and towards the state of Israel's territory. All aerial defense systems operate to intercept the threats. We are still in for rough hours.
The world also reacted to the growing tensions between Israel and Iran, urging the nations to seek diplomacy and dialogue. While French Foreign Minister Jean-Noël Barrot reaffirmed Israel's right to defend itself against all attacks. Ayushi Bhatnagar's report for DD India.
Calling the attack a unilateral action by Israel, NATO's Secretary General Mark Rutte said on Friday that it is crucial for NATO allies, including the United States, to work to de-escalate the situation in the Middle East.
Well, it is obviously a rapidly evolving situation. This was a unilateral action by Israel. So I think it is crucial for many allies, including the United States, to work as we speak to de-escalate. I know they're doing that. And I think that is now the first order of the day.
India on Friday expressed deep concern over the escalating tensions between Iran and Israel and called for restraint from both sides. The Ministry of External Affairs issued a statement urging diplomatic efforts to de-escalate the situation. The ministry said that India is deeply concerned at the recent developments between Iran and Israel and is closely monitoring the evolving situation, including reports related to attacks on nuclear sites. India has urged both nations to avoid further escalation and instead engage through established diplomatic channels. And our correspondent Shubhendu Ghosh is now joining us from West Asia. Shubhendu, did you see this escalation coming and what could happen next?
Well, Munmun, it is indeed an unprecedented development as far as the deterioration of relations between Israel and Iran are concerned. But whether it was in the making, one shouldn't be surprised. Both Iran and Israel are sworn enemies of one another. They've been, for years, Netanyahu in particular has warned Iran about its nuclear program. It says that Israel is directly vulnerable to any nuclear ambitions that Iran has had. But what we have to see is the timing when these attacks are taking place, at a time when Iran, United States talks, nuclear talks have been progressing, although they did not meet any expected end, but there was a growing cautious optimism that both United States, which is the closest ally of Israel, and Iran, respectively, they said that there was a certain positive momentum to that. In the middle of it, Israel decides to target specifically the nuclear enrichment facilities. Natanz city in Iran is where these are located. What were targeted were also some of the key military installations, ballistic missile factories in and around Tehran. Asfan's, Tabriz are some of the cities that we are learning about that have been the target. So the timing of it at a time when United States, in fact, was trying to focus on talks and making diplomacy the way forward to curb Iran's nuclear ambition, this attack definitely increases the gulf into a chasm as far as the gap and the differences between Israel, US allies and Iran are concerned.
Right, we'll take it further, Shubhendu, with Iran's nuclear sites attacked, and you referred to the Natanz nuclear facility. How serious are radiation concerns now, and what role is the IAEA playing?
That was one of the primary concerns, Munmun, but it is still a rapidly evolving situation. We just still getting perspectives to the sources. Iranian sources say that in Natanz, most of the enrichment facilities are deep underground, and these attacks that have taken place by Israel have in fact done very little damage in terms of the real nuclear infrastructure is concerned. The damage is mostly limited to the surface. But remember, Israel had also said that it was not like a one-day conflict or one-off attacks, and several rounds of these attacks would continue under the operation to make sure that the nuclear facility, the enrichment facility, the ballistic missile facility of Iran is completely neutralized. So in that sense, as of now, no report as such of a nuclear radiation leak. But that speaks also much about what is the kind of setback that Iran has received. But it is an evolving situation. IAEA would want to also scan and understand what is the situation. But as we speak, this is turning into a conflict zone. Iran has promised a mega retaliation, given especially that the top military commanders and nuclear scientists were also eliminated and targeted by Israel. So in that sense, a rapidly evolving situation. This conflict could go in any direction. The first set of 100 drones as retaliation have already been launched by Iran towards Israel. We'll have to wait and watch how this develops.
Right, we leave it at that. Shubhendu Ghosh reporting from West Asia. Globally, oil prices have risen while stocks plummeted as Israel struck Iran, escalating tensions in West Asia. The global benchmark Brent crude rose by more than 6%, sparking concerns over supply disruptions. But the S&P 500 and Nasdaq are trading in green after the initial shocks. In Europe, all major indices are in the red. An American appeals court on Thursday temporarily allowed President Donald Trump to continue deploying National Guard troops in Los Angeles during ongoing protests against intensified immigration enforcement. The Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals paused an earlier ruling by U.S. District Judge Charles Breyer, who had declared the deployment unlawful and ordered the Guard returned to California Governor Gavin Newsom's control. Although the pause does not indicate the appeals court's final stance, it allows Trump to retain authority over the Guard for now. The decision follows a week of protests centered around a federal detention center in downtown Los Angeles, where National Guard troops have been stationed. The Guard has also accompanied ICE agents during enforcement operations across the city. Protesters were dispersed and detained near a federal detention center in Los Angeles during ongoing demonstrations over immigration raids. National Guard troops were present at the federal building where many of the protests have taken place in the last few days in a show of solidarity for immigrants detained inside. Let's now take a look at other stories making news around the world. Central Vietnam is battling widespread flooding and heavy rainfall as storm Vu-Tip moved inland. Quang Binh province reported over 18,000 hectares of rice fields submerged in 24 isolated locations. In Quang 3, nearly 3,000 households are inundated with around 1,000 evacuated and numerous roads cut off. Typhoon Butip, the first named typhoon of the 2025 Pacific typhoon season, brought strong winds and heavy rains to China's Hainan province on Friday. The storm has affected flight operations and have brought daily lives to a standstill. Butip is now heading towards southern Guangdong province and Guangxi Zhuang autonomous region and is expected to make landfall around noon on Saturday. A ruptured methane gas pipeline has caused an explosion in a commune in southern France. The details on casualties and extent of damage are yet to be ascertained. That's all in this edition of DD India Live, but do share your thoughts with us on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India mobile app. This app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. You can scan the QR code on the screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. This is Munun Bhattacharya from all of us here in Delhi. Thanks for watching DD India Live. Namaskar.